Welcome to another session of Larteen Math Tribe tutorials. In this session, I'll walk you through how to use your scientific calculator to solve questions involving algebraic substitution. For us to better understand this concept, I am going to use some sample questions to do the demonstration. Now, let us assume that we have these multiple choice questions on substitution, and it is expected of us to provide answers to them. There are basically two simple methods of using the scientific calculator to solve these questions. The first method is what I personally refer to as the CALC method. The second method requires us to store the values into the calculator, so I call that the store method. I am going to systematically walk you through these two methods, so make sure you don't skip any part of this video, and also tap on the subscribe button and become a part of this family. Without further ado, let's get to the questions. Question 1. Given that a equals -2 and b equals -3, evaluate a multiplying a squared plus b squared. What every student will do is to manually solve this question using their pen and paper, but that will quite be difficult and time-consuming in the case of multiple choice question. So let us learn the easy way. Now, let us start with the CALC method. What the CALC method requires us to do in the case of this question is to first enter the expression into the calculator. So we have a times a squared plus b squared, so I enter that into the calculator. Now, to activate all the variables on the calculator, we use the alpha key to activate there. So I want to activate a, so I simply tap on alpha and the negative button to activate a. So a multiplying a squared, so I activate a, and then I tap on the x squared button, plus b squared. To activate b, I simply tap on alpha and then the degree symbol to activate b. So b squared, and then I tap on the square button. Then I close my bracket. So I have successfully entered the expression into the calculator. Now, what we have to do next is to tap on the CALC button. So that is basically the reason why I named it the CALC method. So after I tap on the CALC button, the calculator will first ask for the value of a. So in this case, a equals -2. So I enter -2, and then I tap on equal to. The calculator will then ask for the value of b. So I enter the value of b, which is -3, and then I subsequently tap on equal to. So the calculator gives the answer as -26. So after you tap on the last equal to sign, the calculator will automatically substitute the values of a and b into the expression and then simplify it for you. So the answer to the first question is D. So this is the CALC method. Now, let us move on to the store method. What the store method requires us to do is to first store the values of a and b into the calculator. So that is basically what we are going to do now. So I am first going to store a equals -2 into the calculator. And in doing so, what you have to do is to first enter the value of a into the calculator. So we have a equals -2, so I enter -2 into the calculator. Secondly, I activate store on the calculator. Now, when we check on top of the RCL button, we can find STO. And STO is an abbreviation for store. And it is yellow in color, which means I will have to use the shift key to activate it. So I simply tap on shift and then the RCL to activate STO, which has been indicated on top of the calculator screen. And then what I have to do next is to tap on the corresponding variable, in this case a. So I tap on the negative button to activate a. So I have successfully stored a equals -2 into the calculator. Next, I store b equals -3. So what I have to do is to first enter -3 into the calculator, and then I activate store by simply tapping on shift and then RCL. And then I tap on the corresponding variable. In this case, I am activating b, so I simply tap on the degree symbol. So I have also stored b equals -3 into the calculator. So now, I have successfully stored a equals -2 and b equals -3 into the calculator. For a comprehensive and a full tutorial on how to store values into the calculator, the link to that particular video is in the description box, so you can check it out. So this is the first step to go through when using the store method. Now, after storing the values of a equals -2 and b equals -3 into the calculator, what I have to do next is to enter the whole expression into the calculator. So we have a multiplying a squared plus b squared. So I first activate a by simply tapping on alpha and a negative button, multiplying a squared. So alpha and a negative button to activate a again, x squared, plus to activate b, I simply tap on alpha and the degree symbol to activate b squared, and then I close the bracket. So I have successfully entered the values of a and b into the calculator. Now, what I have to do next is to simply tap on the equal to sign. And after I do that, the calculator will automatically substitute the values of a equals -2 and b equals -3 that we initially stored. So this means the answer to the first question is D. So in using both methods, we can see that we arrived at the same answer, which means you can use either of this method and you are good to go. Let us move on to the second question. Evaluate 2y plus x minus 3 out of z plus 1 when y equals 2, x equals 4, and z equals 1. If you try to go by the manual way of solving, this is the solution to the question. You can pause the video and go through the solution. Now, let us move on to how to use the calculator to solve it. So in this question 2, I am going to use both the CALC method and the store method. Now, let us start with the CALC method. So as I mentioned earlier, the CALC method requires us to first enter the whole expression or formula into the calculator. Now, when we check this particular expression, we have the variables y, x, and z. Also, when we check the variables on the calculator, we have the variable y on the calculator, we have the variable x on the calculator, but the variable z is absent on the calculator. There is no z on the calculator. So in place of z, I can use a, b, c, d, or any of the remaining variables. So let's enter the expression into the calculator. So we have 2y. So to activate y, I simply tap on alpha and then the SD button. So 2y plus. The next expression is a fraction. So I first have to activate the fraction symbol and then I enter the numerator, which is x minus 3. To activate x, I simply tap on alpha and then the bracket close button minus 3. Afterwards, I use the arrow keys to navigate to the denominator. We have z plus 1. But as I earlier mentioned, there is no z on the calculator. So what I have to do is to replace the z with any of the remaining variables. So in my case, I'll be using a. So instead of z plus 1, I enter a plus 1. So I tap on alpha and a negative button to activate a plus 1. So I have successfully entered the whole expression into the calculator. So what I have to do next is to tap on the CALC button. The calculator will first ask for the value of y. So I enter 2 and then I tap on equal to. Next, it will ask for the value of x. So x equals 4. So I enter 4 and then equal to. Lastly, the calculator is asking for the value of a. In this case, I replaced the a with the z. So I enter the value of z into the calculator. So we have z equals 1. So I enter 1 and then equal to. So the calculator gives the answer as 9 out of 2. This is an improper fraction. So in the possible answers, it has been converted into mixed fraction. So we also have to do same with the calculator. Now, when we check on the SD button, we can locate the mixed fraction symbol. And it is also yellow in color, which means I will have to use the shift key to activate it. So I simply tap on shift and then the SD button to convert the improper fraction into mixed fraction. So we have 4 whole number 1 out of 2, which means the answer to the second question is B. Now, let us try the same question using the store method. So as I indicated earlier, the store method requires us to first store the values of x, y, and z into the calculator. So the value of y equals 2, so I store that into the calculator. What I have to do first is to enter 2 into the calculator. Secondly, I activate store by simply tapping on shift and then RCL. And then I tap on the corresponding variable, in this case, y. So I simply tap on SD to activate y. So I have successfully stored y equals 2 into the calculator. Next, I store x equals 4 into the calculator. So I first enter 4. Next, I activate STO by simply tapping on shift and then RCL. And then I tap on the corresponding variable, which is x. So I tap on the bracket close sign to activate x. So I have stored x equals 4 into the calculator. And lastly, we have z equals 1. But because there is no z on the calculator, I can use any of the remaining variables. In the first method, I used a. So I'm going to use b in this method. So instead of z equals 1, we now have b equals 1. So I'm going to store b equals 1 into the calculator. So I first enter 1 into the calculator. I activate STO by tapping on shift and then RCL. And then lastly, I tap on a degree symbol to activate b. So now I have successfully stored b equals 1 into the calculator. So I have stored the values of y, x, and z into the calculator. What I have to do next is to enter the whole expression into the calculator. So we have 2y, so I first enter 2, and then I activate y by simply tapping on alpha and then SD, plus the next expression is a fraction, so I first activate my fraction symbol, and then I enter the numerator, which is x minus 3. So to activate x, I simply tap on alpha and then the bracket close, x minus 3. So after that, I use the arrow keys to navigate to the denominator, z plus 1. But in this method, I used b in place of the z. So instead of z plus 1, I now have b plus 1. So I tap on alpha and then the degree symbol to activate b plus 1. So I have successfully entered the whole expression into the calculator. Now what I have to do next is to simply tap on the equal to. So if I tap on the equal to button, the calculator will substitute the values that are initially stored into the expression and then simplify it for me. So I have 9 out of 2. To convert this into improper fraction, I simply tap on shift and then SD. So we have 4.5, which is the same as the answer we got initially. So in using the first and the second method, you always arrive at the same answer. So you choose between the one which you prefer best. This means the answer to the second question is B. Let's move on to the last question. For the last question, what is the value of PQR out of PQ minus QR if P equals -3, Q equals 2, and R equals -2? So this is the solution to this particular question. You can pause the video and go through the solution. Now, when we check this particular question, none of the variables used in this particular question are present on the calculator. So we have P, Q, and R. There's no P on the calculator, there's no Q on the calculator, and also there's no R on the calculator. So there's no way you can enter this particular expression directly into the calculator. So we have to make some adjustments to the expression. So this is what I am going to do. I am going to make replacement as I did earlier in the previous question. So what I'm going to do is to use A, B, and C in place of the P, Q, and R. So I will replace P with A, Q with B, and then R with C. So instead of this particular expression, this will be our new expression after I do the replacement. So instead of PQR out of PQ minus QR, we now have ABC out of AB minus BC. I am going to use the CALC method in this question, and afterwards you try the second method to see if you will arrive at the same answer. As I stated earlier, the CALC method requires us to first enter the expression into the calculator. So we have PQR out of PQ minus QR. But our new expression is now ABC out of AB minus BC after we did the replacement. So I enter this particular expression into the calculator. So I have successfully entered the whole expression into the calculator. What I have to do next is to tap on the CALC button. The calculator will ask for the value of A. In this case, the A is our P. So we have P equals -3. So I enter -3 into the calculator. And then I tap on equal to. The calculator will ask for the value of B. In our case, B is Q. So Q equals 2. So I enter 2 into the calculator. And then I tap on equal to. The calculator will also ask for the value of C. In this case, C is R, and we have R equals -2. So I enter -2 into the calculator. And afterwards, I tap on equal to. So the calculator will automatically substitute the values of A, B, and C into the expression. So we have -6. This means the answer to the third question is A. Try out the store method and see if you will arrive at the same answer. Make sure you follow the procedure that I have already taught you, and don't skip any step. The fourth question is a WASSCE examination question. Try it with any of the methods and put your answer in the comment section and let me review it for you. Please wait. You have not yet subscribed to the channel. Make sure you tap on the subscribe button before you leave this particular video. Make sure you like the video if you found it very helpful. You can share it to your friends to also benefit from this particular video. I hope we had an amazing time together. Thank you and have a nice day.